What is up, guys? It's the Free Man here, coming to you with another video. And today I thought I'd keep it a bit lighthearted and talk about some of the things that I'm doing to really improve my health. Now, this topic is one that's going to be resounding with a lot of men, and it is the topic of no-fap. Obviously, women can actually associate with this as well. However, I don't know much about the benefits of no-fap for women. Basically, no-fap is the abstinization? That's not a word. That's not a word. That's not a word. You don't fap. Basically, you don't jerk off. You don't chase the pony, walk the snake. I don't know what the hell it's called. Don't masturbate. Basically, people have found that after a while, when you abstain from masturbation, a lot of really interesting things start to happen, and I'll get into that a bit later. But the thing is that no-fap really is one of the hardest things to do for a lot of men. It fits all three categories. There's accessibility, affordability, and anonymity. With any pleasures, you'll find it's up to one of those things. If one of those things is easy, then you find that you'll do it more. So just starting with accessibility, in 4 seconds flat, I can be seeing titties. Now, there's probably some other guys out there that are thinking, 4 seconds, I could do it in 3, no 2, no 1. In fact, my entire wall is covered in pornography. There are some guys out there, especially nowadays, if you've got a mobile phone, it doesn't matter if you're at home, you can literally just 2 clicks and then done. Especially if you've got 4G, then that's 4G's worth of porn. I mean, it's so hard to really get away from it because it's accessible thanks to technology at the click of a button. Affordability, because the only thing you need is an internet connection, or you can go over to your friend's house, as I'm sure a few of you have done in your younger years, and use their internet connection. You know what I'm talking about, when you're like 10 and then you go over to a mate's house and then you just, you know, or even you find like a stack of pornography underneath their big brother's bed or something. So affordability is really out of the question. Even if you're a millionaire to a hobo, you have access to porn. Now then there's anonymity. As we all know, anon rules the internet. You don't have to post who you are, you don't have to give any information for that, so no one will hold you accountable, unless someone finds out you're doing it. Now, I think we all have had those moments whereby someone has checked our internet history, or you're thinking, oh crap, I left my phone at my girlfriend's, I haven't locked it, and it's got so much porn. Oh god! So if you're one of those people, then you're screwed. But, for the majority of us, no one will know. So this is why it's so hard. Accessibility, affordability, and anonymity. It ticks all 3 boxes. So moving on to the benefits of no-fap. Just gonna say there is a lot of BS out there. A lot of people claiming a lot of things. And today I'm going to be breaking down some of the things that do work, some of the things that don't work, based on research and based on some of the testimonials that I've read and my own experience. And the first port of call would be dopamine resistance. Now, dopamine resistance is one of the main reasons why when people masturbate too much, they start to feel really low and down in the dumps. Because when you blow the load, especially more than once, what happens is there's a huge boost in dopamine in the brain. And so you feel great, you know, as you all know. But then guess what happens? You come back down again. You know, you'll sort of get to the point whereby you just be chasing that high over and over again. So some people, especially if you masturbate more often than once in a day, which I can say that in darker times I would be beating my dick hours in a day. Especially in some of my darker days, I just come home from school, 1 hour, play video games, fap, play another video game, fap, play another video game, fap, and go to bed. And I'm sure some of you guys can really relate to this. So it used to be pretty bad. It then improved up to about once a day to once every other day. And now I'm at a state where I'm basically gonna just go the whole way and do the whole challenge. But back to the research. When you are producing dopamine a lot, your brain becomes resistant to it. And what that will lead into then later on is social anxiety. It will relate to a lot of social disorders. It will relate to a lot of mood disorders. It will relate to lack of drive. And that's simply because if you're not getting the normal levels of dopamine in the brain just from performing normal tasks, because when you go out in the day, your brain will naturally secrete dopamine based on what you do. But if you have a dopamine resistance, then everything will just feel like you're living in this like blank, bland universe where everything is just meh. At least for me, I'm sure you guys can associate with it, but like you just lose so much of your drive, you lose so much of your interest in life, and you just lose a lot of that like go get 'em feeling. It's almost like some of the color is drained out of your life. The second thing is the testosterone part. Now, when there is a huge spike in testosterone in the brain when you ejaculate. Now, testosterone is the male hormone responsible for our aggressiveness, our assertiveness, our go-getting attitude, and a lot of our bullshit. I'd probably say that lack of testosterone is actually more cause for bullshit out there. Simply because in this world we're going through a lot of issues, simply because there aren't enough really assertive men out there. I'm sure there's a lot of really frustrated women out there that are also nodding their heads in agreement to say, where the hell have all the men gone? But anyway, excessive masturbation, in my opinion, is one of the causes, because it really disrupts that testosterone and dopamine balance that is needed for a man to really just be a man, you know? I mean, if we just look at it from an evolutionary perspective, when you ejaculate, that's the signal that your body gets to say, I've reproduced now, I don't need to keep producing testosterone. Because obviously, especially if you've been masturbating continuously, the body thinks, well, I'm surrounded by women, why do I need to be assertive? You know, why do I need to have all of these go-get-em behaviors to get me into that situation where I can produce more offspring? So naturally your testosterone will be a lot lower. So this is where the problems with social anxiety start to come in, and why so many people start to report these no-fap superpowers. Among these superpowers include huge boosts in social prowess, huge boosts in energy, huge boosts in the ability to talk to the opposite sex as well. And that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because when I said before about the evolutionary perspective, there is no need, if you're constantly blowing the load, to have any of these things. And this is exactly why, when you stop doing that, all of these superpowers come back, because your testosterone starts to rebalance and your dopamine starts to rebalance as well. Now, the main thing that I experienced when I stopped masturbation was an improvement in my social prowess. That means improvements in talking to the opposite sex. That means a reduced sexual anxiety and social anxiety. And I also experienced an increased drive for life as well. Now, there are many different causes for that. It wasn't just masturbation. I cannot say that the moment I stopped, everything just magically started working again. Everyone is different. Depending on how much you've been doing it, it will take different times based on how long it will take for the dopamine resistance to reset and for your testosterone to start to rebalance. I had a lot more clarity of purpose and drive to do stuff. The first day, it's alright, it's not bad, unless you've broken from like a chronic addiction to masturbation, in which case you're just like, where's my fix? Where's my fix? You know, now my eyes would betray me far more than they already do, because as you guys already know, when a cute girl walks past, you will naturally just start checking her out, either consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes you won't, you'll just be focusing on other things. But for me, it was like my eyes had a life of their own, and they only wanted to look at one thing, and it wasn't my phone. So I really had to stop myself from just being just an absolute pervert sometimes. It wasn't deliberate. It was just like, you know. The other thing that I experienced was a massive increase in the amount of erections I would get, which would be great if I was in the right context. However, when you're at work and you find that you're suddenly getting erections for no reason, it's a bit inconvenient, because of just standing. I work in retail at the moment, so I just stand behind the desk and just not move. Like, it's just like, if someone asked me to do something, I'd be like, yeah, I'll be there in about 30 seconds. Yeah. When you constantly masturbate to images that are fake, you get conditioned to be turned on by images that are fake. So when you stop that, naturally your real libido will come back again. So I'm going to be going on a 21-day no-fap challenge. Now, to get past my limit of 7 days, I'm going to be using everything from the kitchen sink to make it so that I will get that far. That includes pruning my internet history, getting rid of any sort of lewd material that I have. I don't actually have any apart from what's on my computer, but so that'll be pretty easy. And really just focusing, because if I can get past the 7-day mark and get into uncharted territory, then I'm pretty positive that the experiences that I had before, the benefits that I mentioned before, will just keep getting better. If I can get to 21 days, there's no reason why I can't get to 90. I'm going to be posting what it's like to be going through that, showing my experiences so that anyone else who wants to go through with it, you can see what it's like. This has been done so many times by so many men, and if you're not one of those men, then I highly advise you get on and get off, and you get less off, basically. I'll cut that bit out. Or maybe I won't. Who knows? So yeah, that's why it's so important. I've been talking about jacking off for like the last 3 hours. I'm so not gonna jack off after this. So as always, guys, thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.